we're going to create a horizontal infographic. So let's go ahead and create our document. Come up to your File menu and select New. For the width, let's go ahead and give it 3500 pixel width. And as for the height, let's go ahead and give it 2000 pixel height. Come down here and click OK. And you have now created your document with the dimensions you have specified for your horizontal infographic. Let's go ahead and create our title. Come over here to your toolbox and pick up your type tool. Let's come back here to the workspace, click and drag out a text box kind of like this. Release your mouse. Then let's come up here to the font size and increase it to about 200 points and then press enter on the keyboard. Then I'm going to come here, I'm going to select my first font family, which is Anton, so AN, and I'm going to go ahead and select it. Now I'm going to type in my first word, which is what. Then I'm going to press enter on my keyboard to go to a new line. I'm going to come back here and select my second font family, which is Pacifico. So I'm going to type in PA and select Pacifico. Now I'm going to type in my second part of my title, which is Daily Workers. And then I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to select my third font family, which is this font, April Fat Face. So I typed in AB and I'm going to go ahead and select it. Now I'm going to go ahead and type in my third part of my title, which is Do Daily. Let's come back and click on the selection tool to select the text. And then let's come over here, right click, and go ahead and create outlines. And then let's go again and right click and select ungroup, and then go ahead and deselect. Now we want to group each letters or words that have the same font together, because each one of them is basically a part of our title, and we're going to need them to be grouped for later. With your selection tool, come up to the first word, which is what, click, and go ahead and drag and then select this word what, go up to object and select group. Deselect. To the second part, with your selection tool, click, drag to include this daily workers, these two words, release mouse, up to object, and select group. Deselect. And for the third part, click, drag to select these two words, do daily, release mouse, up to object, and select group. Go ahead and deselect. Let's go ahead and continue with the creation of this title. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. With your selection tool, come over here, click, drag, select all these objects, and then come to this edge, click, hold down Shift key, and downsize these objects about this much. Release your mouse, then Shift key, go ahead and deselect. Come up to Window, all the way down to Symbols. Come over here to this small arrow, click, and you can see this drop-down menu, all the way down to Open Symbol Library. Come down here and select Regal Vector Pack. There are three ribbons here. Two of them are kind of curved, and one of them is not. Let's go ahead and click on that one, hold your mouse and drag it out here to your workspace. Release your mouse, close this box and this box. With your selection tool, come over to this edge over here to this ribbon, let's go ahead and just make it bigger for now. Click, hold down Shift key, drag out to make it bigger, and try to make it a good size so you can fit the words daily workers inside it. So keep an eye on both the ribbon and the daily workers words. I think that much will be good. Release mouse, then Shift key, go ahead and deselect. Now, again, go ahead and select this ribbon. Go up to Object, select Expand. When this box shows up, go ahead and click OK. And then again go to Object and select the command Group. Go ahead and deselect. Grab this What word with your selection tool and place it above the ribbon, but of course lined up with the center of the ribbon right here. Release your mouse, and then grab the daily workers 2 words and place them inside the ribbon. Right there in the center. Release your mouse, and as you can see, we cannot see the words daily workers, and that is because they are underneath the ribbon. So while having them selected, right click all the way down to Arrange, select the command Bring to Front. Go ahead and deselect. We actually need to make our ribbon a little bigger. So select your ribbon with your selection tool, come to this edge, click, hold down Shift and Alt key, drag out to make it bigger, about that much. Release mouse, and then keyboard and deselect. And that is basically a good size for the ribbon. Let's come over here with our mouse, click, pick up the Do Daily 2 words and place them underneath the ribbon, but of course also lined up with the center right there. Release mouse, deselect. Let's go ahead and place our title in its location. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole document, and so I can place them correctly. With your selection tool, go ahead, click, drag to select all these objects, release mouse, and then pick them up, bring them up here to the title location, and make sure you are lined up with the center of your document right there. Release mouse and deselect. I'm going to zoom back in now. If you look over here, this is the human figure that we have previously learned how to create. We're going to need to make 4 more copies of this human figure for a total of 5 for this piece of information. With your selection tool, go ahead and select it. And as you can see, we have selected the head and body because we have previously grouped them together. Come up to Effect, all the way down to Distort and Transform, select the command Transform. Let's come over here and check Preview so we can see what we're doing. The total is 5, so we're going to need 4 more copies. So go ahead and make it 4. And then let's come up here to the horizontal move slider. Click and drag it all the way over here. Release your mouse. I'm going to need more spacing, and I have reached the extent of my slider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hold down my Shift key, and while holding it down, press a couple of times on my up arrow key. And that is good spacing. Release Shift key, come down here and click OK. Now, let's go up to Object and select the command Expand Appearance. And then again up to Object and select the command Ungroup. If you go ahead and deselect, you can see that yes, you have made 5 copies and lined them up horizontally next to your original. But you can now control each one of these copies separately as a separate object.